We started in Philadelphia University an active sustainability program in 1991. Now, I'm sure there was stuff that happened before that, frankly, but I can trace it back in sort of our records, our archives. Real serious issues around sustainability and attack on sustainability that really implement sustainability starting in about 1991. So I then traced it forward about 20 years and said, what is that, when this little spark of sustainability happened on the campus, what's the result of that? There's an outcomes assessment that was important to me. Looking at it, we recycled over 350, in this year, in the last 12 months, we recycled over 350 tons of material, diverting about 22% of our waste material from landfills. Many of you are going to say, well, that's not good enough. And frankly, I'll probably agree with you. But I got to tell you, if it didn't start 20 years ago, that those 350 tons of waste material would be in the landfills. And I think the whole issue of recycling, I keep getting caught up in this recycling thing. I was trying to be cute when I wrote this down. Recycling is really the tip of the iceberg, if we want icebergs to still exist. We really have to learn more about what we're doing and how we integrate with the entire community that we call Philadelphia University and beyond. Seriously about going farther than recycling and thinking about a more holistic approach to the Philadelphia University perspective on sustainability. I think as an institution, lots of work from faculty, lots of work from students, but this was a serious advancement. And it worked, and it worked well. And in 2003, we advanced that relationship, and we said we want to improve all our buildings. We want to improve the entire living condition of these buildings. And we want to save energy. We want to save money. I don't think that's a bad thing. And we want to have a more energy efficient operation. After a decade of that, or not even a decade of that, less than a decade of that, 83% of the university's own footprint has some form of integrated building automation system in place. When that building is finished, it will be far more than 83%, because that's clearly we're doing that there. So we've made huge advancements internally about what we've done. Those advancements, we would estimate, equal about $400,000 a year in savings. Now, I'm an economist by training. The allocation of scarce resources is a responsible way to approach dealing with any organization. This is a better allocation of scarce resources. The reduction in energy by what we've done with Honeywell results in about 6,071 metric tons a year of carbon footprint, reduced carbon footprint. That's the equivalent of taking about 1,200 cars off the road. It's a really interesting, good first step. Now, how does that integrate with who the students are, the generation of students here now that will go into the world as leaders and as believers and evangelists for sustainability? I'm a little surprised about what's happening, and it'll be interesting to get your reaction to this. There's a really interesting book, Generation Differences in Young Adults, yada, yada, yada. It's an academic book, so it has like 400 words in the title, try to make it sound like it's more important than it is. But it is really interesting. There was a study in this book that found, let me get this correct, 3 times more millennials than baby boomers said they made no personal effort at all to practice sustainability. Only 51% of millennials said they tried to save energy by cutting down on electricity, compared to 68% of old people like me. I was startled by that. The neophyte gets turned into a fanatic. The people growing up with it are getting careless. The author said, and this quote stung me, I see no evidence that today's young people feel much attachment to duty or to group cohesion. This author called the millennials the me generation. I found it startling. And frankly, I found it out of context with my experience at Philadelphia University. When I got a call from Carolyn Park inviting me to speak, she said, we want you to speak because you have such a highly motivated student body. Your activity in the learning and the implementation of sustainability is so robust, so energized among your student body that this is a perfect place to have this kind of sustainability forum. You're making a difference, and your job is going to be hard. It is not that you're going into a world that accepts what you believe. You're going into a world that's pretty complacent about.